Welcome, friends. This is Into the Garden We Grow, a place for faith-filled growth. Each week we gather here to have honest conversations about life, leadership, healing, and purpose, reminding us that even in hard soil, something beautiful can grow. Wherever you're planted today, you belong here.
Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Into the Garden. We're so glad you're here for another week. Into the Garden is where we meet here weekly and we just learn and grow together. And today we're going to talk about childlike faith. What is childlike faith?
That's such a great question, Alina. You know, Jesus talked about childlike faith, and it's really about trusting. And it's not the kind of trust where you're naive or you're immature, but it's about remembering back when we were like children and we were able to trust, and inviting us back to trust. And the kind of trust that we often lose as we're growing older, and you know, we have responsibility, and that we may have wounds that we're healing from, and you kind of lose that trust over time because the world can jade you a bit. So remember when we were talking about the 4th grade, 5th grade, that age where you really had to grow up? There's like that transitional period. So Alina, I was wondering if maybe you had the remembering when before you were in 4th grade and 5th grade, that trust, that childlike faith that you had, and then after that age and that transition, could you share a little bit about that with us and your walk?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I feel like my whole life changed during that time at 9 years old, like we were talking about. And so at 9, before 9, I was literally a child, right? Like, I had no worries, no fears, really. I didn't have to worry about what we're going to eat the next day or where we're going to sleep or what's going to happen, only because I trusted, right? I trusted the parents. And so I feel like that was such a child faith. You don't worry about it. You just kind of trust the adult in your life to take care of you and provide. And so for me, before that, it was very much just living normal, doing life like every kid does. No worries, no fears, no cares, really, right? And then at 9, when I was in the 4th grade, a drastic change happened in my life. My parents got divorced. And so it was kind of a change right around there. We came from a completely different country to America, where we had no idea how to speak the language, what the life was. We come from a third world country, in a village in a third world country, which is even more third world than it gets. to Chicago is where we lived.
That couldn't be more opposite.
Yes, and so everything was a change at that time for us, but I still felt safe. I was with my parents. I had no worries or cares in the world until one day when my parents decided to get a divorce, and then my mom decided to leave. And she took my sisters. I have 4 sisters at the time. I had 4 sisters. There was 4 of us, 3 sisters and me. So a total of 4, not 4 sisters. And she decided to go back to Romania because that's where she was comfortable with. That's where her family was. That's what she knew. And so I remember her coming to ask me at that time if I wanted to go with her and the girls. And I knew that was probably like one of the toughest decisions I had to make as a child, looking back. And I chose to stay back and stay with my dad because I knew that if Dad came home from work and we were all completely gone, he would probably do something hurtful to himself, just the depression, who knows, suicide. And so I wanted to at least be there for him so he can have a face to look to when he came home, when he walked in the door. And so I don't know how, like, I feel like I don't know how deep you want me to go into, but that incident changed the trajectory of my life, because I stayed back. I was scared, like everything settled right when when the unknown happened, when my mom left, and I was just home by myself at 9, and I remember her telling me, hey, I'm making this soup, bean soup. It was actually, to be specific, and the Romanians would know what I'm talking about, pasula. I need you to finish it. And so I did. I did what I needed to, like saute the onions and paprika and then put the stuff in the soup and stir it and let it finish. And then I just remembered going outside and just waiting on the steps of our place for my dad to come home from work till 4 p.m. My mom left early in the morning, like at 7 or 8 a.m. And anyway, and as soon as my dad saw me from the bottom of the stairs, he knew there was something wrong. I think it's maybe because I was crying, and he was like, they left, didn't they? And I was like, yeah. And my dad just kind of fell to his knees and just was screaming and crying. And he's like, I knew there was something wrong. He's like, I even checked to make sure that she had appointments set for the girls, because she had told my dad that he was going to take him to the doctor's appointment to get shots before school started in September. And so anyway, my dad came in, and it was just life-changing. Then he ended up he says that I used to beg him every day for him to go back to Romania and at least bring one sister that I can pray with.
Oh my.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Because I was so alone. And so that made my dad, it gave him the whatever to do whatever it takes to go get them. And so, but I'd also remember that he told me, well, while I'm gone, you can't stay by yourself. I was 9. I'm going to have you stay with this family from church until I come back with the girls. And so I did that. I stayed with a family that had 8 kids.
Wow.
And although he probably thought it was a good idea because there was a lot of kids that I can play with, it was very overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And I remember he told me he was going to be gone for a week, and it turned into a month. And I used to have to take the city bus early in the morning. I used to leave the house, I don't know, 6 a.m. maybe, to get to school before it started at 7:30. And then I wouldn't get home till it was dark again, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m. And so that was me for a month. And so that made you grow up really quick. You know, like I look back, I mean, I have 4 children of my own and 2 bonus girls. And I remember at each age when my child hit 9, like kind of reflecting, and I'm like, man, I could have never left my child alone at 9 to cook. Hey, do the cooking on the stove, right? To even leave them alone in the house, you know, I just felt like they weren't mature enough, or I mean, they probably would have been fine, but maybe it was just my mom, or maybe because I was traumatized by having that done to me at 9 years old that I didn't want to do it to my kids. But anyway, so my goodness, let me go back on, because now my mind is just spinning with testimonies and incidents that happened. But I did grow up. Once like before that, like I said, I just trusted. I just didn't have any worries. And then that happened, and every fear, every worry, every disbelief, like I had all kinds of questions of like, why am I going through this? Why, you know, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Who's going to come get me? Who's going to, you know, all this stuff. And so I think God wants us to have childlike faith because it's not fancy, right? It's not perfect. It doesn't have all the answers, but it's innocent. You just don't have to worry. You when you're a child and you have that faith, you don't care. You don't care if it's honest, you know, like, I just feel like God just kind of, you have no worries. You just trust. And then, so once it forces you to grow up, then all the questions come, and it's not as easy.
It's like when you're younger, and that parent is the influence, and they're like, hold my hand. You just reach up and you hold their hand. You tell them when you're afraid. You tell them when you're excited. You tell them when you're sad. And that's that childlike faith that Jesus talks about, right? That is such a beautiful testimony. Thank you for being vulnerable and authentic, because I'm sure there's people out there that have had some real struggles, and that's what prevents them from trusting again. And humans are terrible.
Yeah.
They can be. But God is so good. And now I'm curious then about, because you have more faith than I've ever seen somebody have, and you've been through some stuff. No doubt about it. And that's just a part of your story. So how were you able to overcome those things that wounded you, and those were hard things? Like how have you been able to show so much faith and trust in God?
I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. Like, I just trust him. His word, and like the worship music, and just my relationship with it is the only thing that kind of helps you get through that kind of stuff. I just felt, although like I was going through major stuff, and literally being alone at 9 years old in a country where I did have, my aunt was here with my cousin John, but my cousin was undergoing major surgery on his spine, and so they were in the hospital the entire time. So I never saw them. So I had family, but I never saw her because she was in a hospital. I was 9. I couldn't get to her. She couldn't leave her son at the time. And so, but my immediate family was all in a different country, miles and miles and miles away. But God just gave me that wisdom to be able to like navigate and get there. Like, how did I not get lost? How did I not get on the wrong city bus?
He was right there with you.
He was with me. Like, I felt him. I felt his presence. I just felt like no matter what, I was going to be okay, And so it's just so special. I don't know. Like, I knew that if I clinged to that, even though it's like, you don't see God, right? You feel him, but you don't. And that's really what faith is. It's like believing in the unseen, the unknown, right? Yes. Like, that's where the truth. So even though I didn't see him, I felt him with me in every step of the way. Like, he was right there holding my hand, and then just kind of gave me the wisdom and just provided guidance so that I can navigate through the stuff that I was going through. So,
gosh, just to know who you are today, and to know this about you and who you are, you've been forged, right? You've been through the fire, and you're still going through fire. Like, we're still living, right? Yeah. So we're not guaranteed to have rainbows and butterflies all the time. There will be trials and there will be tribulation, but take heart. This episode of Into the Garden We Grow is sponsored by Langston Security and Integration, a women-owned and led company grounded in integrity, stewardship, and long-term relationships. For over 18 years, LSI has helped businesses protect what matters most through thoughtful, reliable security solutions. At LSI, we believe strong foundations create space for growth in business and community and in life. To learn more, visit langstonsecurity.com. Welcome back. We're so excited to be able to step in a little bit deeper on this subject about childlike faith. And so here's some biblical context, and then we're also going to share a little bit of childlike context. And then I'm going to talk to Alina and ask her a few questions and some examples that she may have to share regarding these different steps, these different subjects. So first is what childlike faith is. Trust without control. And we just talked about that.
Yep.
So children definitely trust their parents before they understand everything. So in a biblical context, that would be Proverbs 3:5, right? So
trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your way acknowledge him and he will direct your paths.
Yes, exactly. And so with childlike faith, that says that I don't understand, but I trust you.
Oh, yes.
So like when you think about that with God, it's like, I don't understand what's going on right now, but I trust you, and you show that all the time. What's a really good example that you could share in recent, like you've had to make a decision, like you didn't really understand it, but you trusted, and then the outcome turned out really great? I mean, it could be simple. It doesn't even have to be anything big.
Well, the first thing that keeps coming to mind when you ask that, and I tend to go with the first thing, is when I found out about the brain tumor. And I know I talked a little bit about it in our first episode in the introduction, but when I found out, I remember specifically being on my patio, having coffee with my husband, and I opened my Bible, and the first thing that I saw was Isaiah 41:10. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will help you. I will help you and strengthen you. I will
uphold you with my
victorious
right hand.
Yeah. So, man, and that's one of my favorite verses. And so when I saw it, but it's like how easy, right? Like God literally spoke to me, and it's like, okay, I know you got me, Lord. I know that you are with me. You're going to guide me through this journey, whatever it looks like. And so I just had that peace. So that's kind of it's not fair because I feel like God spoke to me directly. But then even what happened after that, and I'm sure I will have an episode on just my testimony with that alone. I don't want to bore you guys or repeat you, but that day, man, he opened doors for me like crazy.
I know.
And so yeah,
pretty amazing.
So that was the first verse. And then what I did real quick, because that was another cool thing, is usually I go on Facebook and I always look at my memories from the year before. That's why I even post on Facebook, honestly. It's for no other reason than for me to be reminded on this day, or, and so a lot of it is my kids and family and memories and stuff. But I looked at my memories, and the first thing that popped up there was the year before. On that day, I posted Philippians 4:6-7. Do not worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, two of my favorite verses just literally spoke to me. And I know you got this.
That was confirmation.
So, yes.
Right there.
For sure.
Yep. But you didn't understand what was happening to your body, but you trusted the Lord to heal you. And
that was kind of like childlike faith, right? Because a child doesn't worry about what they're going to eat tomorrow, right? With a parent, or they just know that they just have to ask for dinner, and the parents will have dinner ready. So that's kind of like what happened to me. Is like God just showed me, I got you. Don't worry. Do not be afraid. I am with you.
I love that. And he'll hold your hand. And that's what you were willing for that. You were open. That was around right when I met you, all that was happening.
Yes.
And I was like, who is this woman that has like no fear, and she just has this absolute faith and trust in the Lord, and he provided, and she knew it. She knew that he would, and it's just beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. So the second one is dependence, not self-sufficiency, because children know they need help. Right? And when we become adults, we kind of feel like, I'm independent. I can do it myself. I don't need to depend on anybody. But biblical faith in John 15:5 says, apart from me, you can do nothing. So childlike faith in this context says, I need you. I can't do this alone. So do you have any recollection of, okay, can I ask you, when you were going through your divorce, would this be a good time when you were like, I can't do this alone, I need you, Lord?
Yeah, I mean, I was married the first time for almost 10 years. And I mean, I love my ex-husband now. We have an amazing relationship. I think we did a great job co-parenting. But going through it was really hard. And that being said, is we got married really quick, really young. I was 19. I literally only knew him for a total of 6 months from the time we met to the time we got married.
Wow.
And I got married for the wrong reason. It was honestly mostly because I wanted to get out of my house.
Okay.
And so I knew that I couldn't afford to live on my own. And because of the way I grew up, I either needed to like move somewhere and pay for myself or get married and move in with somebody, because my dad would have never allowed for me to move in with a guy or anything like that. And so he came along, and I loved his family. I still do to this day. Beautiful family. And I fell in love with the parents, and it's something that I was always longing for. His mom is very traditional, is all about the family. And so that's what I was wanting. And so I was like, this is it. Even though I didn't really know the guy, but I knew I loved the family. And so unfortunately, when you don't have God's guidance and you kind of take it upon yourself to make those decisions, it didn't work. I did have 3 beautiful children out of it, and I'm so grateful for that. And now, being where I'm at today, my motto is no regrets, lessons learned, right? Because if you sit there and beat yourself up for the choices you've made in your younger years, it's going to be nothing but guilt and shame. And so you don't want any of that stuff to him. We got to let go of that. And God's grace, he forgave. That's what he did. He died on the cross so he could forgive our sins, so that he could free us. And so we don't have to carry that burden anymore. And so... Sorry, now I'm like going on. It's okay. Remind me the question, but
that's a great example. No, where you were trying to do it on your own, and but you had that childlike faith again.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to say, I can't do this alone.
Right. And so, so we were married. And I, even though it wasn't very healthy, I stayed in it because I didn't want my kids to be product of divorce, because I went through that and I absolutely hated it. And so I just thought, oh, well, it's going to get better. And it's not. Like, you can't change somebody else, you know. You just have to meet them at where they are and love them. And sometimes you get tired and it's just not going to work out. And so that whole marriage fell apart almost 10 years later. And although I was afraid, I'm not going to lie, I would have been 29 and a single mom of 3.
Oh, wow.
I did have a great job, so I was thankful for that. But I knew that God would provide, even though there was some stuff. I'm not going to get into that because it's kind of embarrassing. But even with that, like I almost lost my job because of complaints and stuff. Like he tried to get me to lose my job. God, the truth came out. God helped me get through it. People saw it, and then it just it was a beautiful thing. He was there for me through all the good and the bad. You know, when I was alone in my house crying because I didn't have anybody, because with that divorce came separation from his family, whom I loved, a lot of friends, and even my own family at the time was kind of distant. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Your own family?
Unfortunately, yeah. Because
wow. And so that all the more reason for you to lean in on your relationship with the Lord.
God. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, but I could tell you, when I was going through those hard times, I never stopped praying. I never stopped worshiping. I never stopped going to church.
Okay. And that helped you. That grounded you.
Filled me up. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 is openness and teachability. Children ask questions freely, and then they receive the information openly. Biblical faith is like what Psalms 25:4 says. Teach me your ways, O Lord. And then childlike faith says, teach me, and I'm willing to learn. Okay, so let's talk about that example. Where is like a something? Ooh, I got one for you. Alina says that she is not technically savvy.
I am not.
But guess who set up these lights? Guess who set up our staging right now?
I did. And I'm shocked because I remember my first thought, I was like, where's my husband? I really need him to do this because I don't know how. Man, it's amazing though, huh? When you kind of just get out of your head and just do it. God, I didn't even have to read the directions. Like he just gave me the strength and the wisdom to figure it out. So yeah,
I love it. Cool. I was like, I believe in you.
Yeah.
And she's like, God help me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did awesome. Okay, 4, humility. Okay, so children don't build their identity on status and achievement. Biblical faith I'm sorry. But yeah, biblical faith is like James 4:6. It says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble.
Mm-hmm.
And childlike faith says, I don't need to prove myself. I receive grace.
Mm.
So humility, when you're not building your identity or status on achievement and you humble yourself to the Lord, how do you do that?
Well, honestly, like none of that stuff really matters anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like, I mean, not that it's not important to set goals. I believe in goals firmly, and like setting where you want to be, who you want to be, all that kind of stuff. But it really doesn't matter. Your status, your career, what you drive, how big your house is, none of that stuff matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like if you do have that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like even in my situation with my knee being ill, it was like, and I'm healed, and I've been healed from it because it's only by the grace of God. It's God put the right people at the right time in the right place for me. And it's incredible when you look at the overall picture, how it happened, right? It wasn't something that like we even knew how to do. He just put it in our place. And so when you give him the glory for all that he's done, man, then the blessing comes even more, because you get to meet all these people that are either walking through the same thing or know somebody, or maybe even who knows, will go through that. And so you get to be such a blessing in sharing the testimony, and encourage others through it. So I feel like the best thing you can do is have faith like a child.
And it's so true. He really has overcome the world. And it's that continuing of our relationship with him that, we can find that hope, that peace, that innocence again, because he's a safe space for all of us. And so I'm really happy that you've always leaned on your faith and trusting in Jesus, because look at you now.
I know. I'm so blessed. So Kristen, how about you? Was it around the same age, or was it in 4th, 5th grade where you felt like you kind of lost that childlike faith?
I think so. I think because that was around the age, 4th grade was around the age when my mom gave up custody of us because she was hoping to go into the Navy, and my dad ended up with full custody, but he wasn't in any situation to be having custody of us. And remember how I said that he was addicted to drugs and alcohol? The house that we were living in had a lot of strangers living in it. We didn't always have food available. We got to eat when we were at school, or we had some good neighbors that would often invite me and my sister to eat, and that's when we would eat. And so at one point my family showed up at the house and they did an intervention with my dad. And so that was kind of the transition period for me. And I think beforehand, like that trust, I don't know, I think I've always been a pretty trusting person. It wasn't until I got older that I felt like when the responsibilities started to get heavier, or when friends would disappoint you or other family members would disappoint you, it's like, because you're putting your trust in them,
Right,
and not God. And so for me, it's kind of, I think we go through seasons of it. We go through seasons of when we're willing to trust, and then you get let down, and then you build this wall, and then that brick by brick, layer by layer, you block people out, or you block that faith that trust out, but because again, it's rooted in the wrong space. Or I don't know. I just think that you have to recognize what you're doing, because I think we can get stuck in that space and not realize, and it's like, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And not realize that it's a mental block within yourself to not like just release, because you're trying to control, right?
Right. And man, is that hard.
It is super hard. You know what so like some of the things, like where I've replaced trust with control is, like, I'll just do it myself. I'll take care of it, like, and not allowing maybe my husband or my kids or people that I work with take care of something, because I don't trust that they can do it the way that I'm going to do it. And I know that it'll get taken care of. So I think a form of control comes out for me in that way. Whereas the times where I like this thing where you clench up your fists really hard and you get real tight because you're just stressed, and it's like, ugh, and then just let it go and open your palms face up. And it's hard to control anything when you surrender and you just put your palms up like that.
Yeah.
And so for me, that has been instrumental in my growth and trusting the Lord, because I'm surrendering it to Him. And I'll even just stop and talk, and I'll be like, God, what is going on with me right now? Like, I don't want to be like this. I don't even want to be around myself right now. No wonder so-and-so doesn't want to talk to me or whatever. So what about you? What, in the form of control, when it's not trust and you're trying to control, what does that look like for you?
Man, I'd say the same thing, right? Like, it's mostly when it comes to my relationship with either my husband or my kids. I just want to keep them safe. I want to block them from getting hurt from the outside world. And so I feel like I just want to take control over that and be like, you need to come here with me, or do this, or go to, in my case, go to this church because this is where I vetted and this is where I know it's good. Or so it's the same. It's mostly like I just want to protect my babies and my husband too, because Tommy is he's very kind and he's got a really good big heart, and sometimes people tend to take advantage of people like that. And so I'm constantly like, but then I don't really want to act like I'm going to control him, right? But I just want to control the situation. And so it's hard. But man, when we surrender and just give it to God, because that was my thing, like, perfect example, I had two of my kids they're very much like me. So then I think that's why we butt heads. But they were making choices that I wouldn't have made. And so I constantly would write them you need to go get a job. You need to get a job. You need to get a job. And it was a fight every single day. And I was getting so frustrated at the situation. And the minute I stopped and I was like, okay, God, I'm sorry. She is your child. He is your child. Like, I give them to you. Please, you work on their heart and on their mind and help them realize that it's important for them to get a job for their future so they can start being responsible. And so the minute I kind of just let go and surrender and gave it to God, some amazing stuff happened in their life to where it made me super, super proud. And I was like, wow, that was easy. Holy crap, I wish I would have done that like years ago. So I don't, because it was a battle, a fight every day almost. And so, yeah, it's bad.
That's draining. It's draining when you try to take control. And like you said, like, things just happen easier when you surrender it and you give it all to Him. Because you're right. They are His children. We're His children. And we forget that, and that's what He's asking about from us, right? Is to have that childlike faith. And He says to me, come, let the children come to me. Because those who have faith like that are the ones that are going to be able to enter the kingdom.
Yeah. And I think what he's talking about there is just not being immature, but just being simple. Like, just be simple. Just I guess, trust and not care, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't mean, again, not being naive. Like, you still have to have discernment, and, you don't want to just blind faith. It's not blind. You're not going to be blind to trust.
Right.
Our instinct, our intuition, at least for me, I can tell it's just because I've had experience and exposure to those types of situations. And like a woman's intuition, there ain't nothing like a woman's intuition. But then the Holy Spirit, like when you're centered and you're grounded and you're rooted, it's like, oh no, like it's even stronger when you know something is right and when something isn't right. And I know I can speak for myself is that it will not go away until I listen to it.
And let go. Yep.
So I would love to ask our audience to think about this as well. So what areas in your life do you trust versus control? We'd love for you to think about that. And
ask God to humble you to just...
well, if you ask him to humble you, he will do that real fast.
This is true.
But there's certain signs or symbols, the way that you can present yourself. Like, I just fall to my knees sometimes because I have this urge, like, I am in awe of you. You are all knowing. You are all powerful. You are all loving. And I just, like, I'm on my knees and I'm lifting my hands up and I'm praying, and it's in private, and it's my relationship that I have with him. It's me coming to the Father. I'm not saying, hey, God, guess what I did today? I did this, this, and this. I need to be recognized. You should bless me. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. And, honestly, I struggle a little bit with buying nice things for myself and not feeling guilty as a believer. But I've also realized that it's not a this for that type of thing. So it's not like, oh, well, I worked really, really hard, which I do. I do work really, really hard. But again, if I feel like because there's other things that I believe I have a generous heart.
Yes, you do. I know for sure you do. I can tell you.
But I don't do it out of recognition. No. I do it because it feels right. And it feels right to recognize people that you care about and that you love. But I love me. I care about me. And it's okay to recognize yourself.
Absolutely.
In a way that's not proud. I'm not proud. I'm not boasting, but it's like, do you know what line I'm talking about?
I absolutely understand. You're not justifying, like you said, oh, I don't deserve this because I worked hard. You really, if that's something that you truly desire to have, and God gave you the wisdom to be able to work hard, to be able to get it, I think there's nothing wrong with that. God wants us to be happy. I don't think God's that difficult as people make him to be at all. Yeah. So it's okay. Like, everyone says money is the root of all evil. Yes, if you let it take hold of you and your heart. But you can do many great things with money, right? You can bless so many people by having money. And so that's kind of like our motto and our thing. Like, man, Lord, please help us make more so that we can bless more. And it's true, because it is so much better, right, to give than to receive.
Oh yes, hands down.
So,
hands down. Yeah.
So yeah, I know, girl, you're probably the most person that I fight with when it goes to come, because you're so generous and you're constantly just want to pick up the bill or, and so yes, you are very generous and therefore you're very blessed too.
Thank you. You know who actually was the example for me that was my grandpa.
Oh,
just the most generous man. And so he was that example for me. Like, he always took care of people. And he was always well off. Always.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think it has to come from, it's not like a strategic thing. It's just like you said, you just want to bless somebody. Like, there's nothing better than helping somebody and blessing them, right? Like, if you can, if you have the means, right? If you have the means to do it, why not? Okay, I like that one. How about you? All right, 5 is honest emotion. Okay, so children express fear, joy, sadness, and excitement openly. So biblical faith. David cries, he rejoices, and questions God openly in Psalms. It's so funny because before we started doing this today, I told her, I said, I was just reading Psalms this morning, and David is a whiny baby.
And he is, yep. But God used him in mighty ways, man.
He sure did.
Yeah.
But he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid to have that honest emotion, the crying, but he also rejoiced better than most, right? And he did question God openly. So, and then Job, he also spoke honestly and to God, and he wasn't rejected. And so that childlike faith is like, I'm scared, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm hurting. So what are some honest emotions recently within the last week that you have expressed to God?
Well, it's kind of crazy you asked, because ever since we started doing this exactly a week ago today, I've been feeling really sick. I feel like there's been a lot of spiritual warfare happening. Just headaches again, which I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? But I know I'm healed. I know, but it's just, I feel like Satan is trying to attack me, to quiet me, to be like, you don't feel good, get back to bed, don't do anything, right? Like, and so I keep praying. I'm like, Lord, I know this is what you want me to do. You want me to go and share my testimony and encourage people and share and show your love. Please remove that spirit of fear from me, because I feel like that's what's been busy in my mind. Like, whoa, is this thing back? Like, am I going to really have to now go back to have surgery? Am I going to die soon? All these crazy things that it's like, and it's just from a headache, but that's the trauma that I was going through, like the crazy pains that I was having back in 2023. And so I've seen it. And then even today, right before, I just found out that one of my favorite aunt on my mom's side lost her husband. And I was so sad. I couldn't sleep all night. I was wrestling and turning and praying for them. And so, and it's almost like, don't go there. Don't come record this episode, you know? But yeah. And so get behind me, Satan, because it's where you're not going to win. God is victorious, and we will get through with it. And so, yeah, I just have been.
You've been anxious. You've been fearful.
Yeah.
But you've been talking to him
all the time, even more so. Yeah. And so I am at peace about it, right?
Only because he's
yeah.
There's something magical about it. It's like
unexplainable.
unless you have that relationship with him, you just don't know. And you know, your relationship is different than my relationship, right? But it works for you. I love that. Okay, so this last one here is the willingness to receive and not earn. Children receive gifts freely. Biblical faith. By grace you have been saved, not by works. And that's Ephesians 2:8-9. There's a little bit more context to it, but childlike faith says, thank you, and I receive. Oh, ladies.
Beautiful.
This is one I think a lot of ladies struggle with because we're so not used to receiving a compliment, accepting it, and learning to say thank you. And not having to like prove yourself or, you know, like
what
justify.
I need to do in return.
Yes. And just like, I received that. Thank you. Something that I've been doing because, you know, it's been a struggle for me is that because I think the negative plays on a soundtrack in our head continuously, it's easier to get in there. But if you purposefully have a soundtrack for the positive, what I've been doing is writing down different compliments that I've received. And I write them down and I put it on a sticky note. And wherever I work, I stick it on the wall. So when I'm starting to doubt or get frustrated or, you know, whatever the broken record is saying in my head, I look at that. And that, oh my gosh, is so liberating.
I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I think my counselor told me that once before. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, but don't go anywhere because we're going to be right back.
This episode of Into the Garden We Grow is sponsored by Rise and Renew Wellness. Life can feel heavy, and sometimes the path forward feels blurred. At Rise and Renew Wellness, we provide a safe space to breathe, reflect, and heal. Our counseling services are here to help you rediscover strength and start your journey towards renewal from the comfort of your own space. Rise and Renew Wellness. Start your journey today.
Welcome back again. And as we close out today's episode, we want to invite you into a simple practice with us, something that you can do right where you're at. And so often we talk about faith and trust and surrender, but actually releasing that control can feel a lot harder than what we expect. And so this isn't about doing the right thing. It's about practicing childlike faith and choosing to trust even when things feel heavy.
So we're calling this practice the trust and release. If you're watching with us, we invite you to grab a piece of paper or simply just hold this in your heart. Think of one thing that you're holding tightly to right now. It could be a fear, pressure, a responsibility, or an outcome that you've been trying to control. And take a moment and just name it honestly.
If you have a piece of paper, write that one thing down. And if not, that's okay. Just acknowledge it quietly before God. Childlike faith doesn't mean we don't care. It means we trust God with what feels too heavy for us to carry alone. So I've got my paper. I'm going to put it in our garden basket. It's actually like a straw hat, but that works.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then here's my paper.
Nice.
And if you can do the same, if you could just, once you write it down, I don't know, rip it up, burn it, do whatever you want with it. But it's just, I would say, just release it and give it to God. We're placing these into what we're calling the garden, a reminder that what we release, God can tend. So wherever you are, we invite you to release yours as well.
Yes. So let's pause here for just a moment. Let that breathe. Let that sink in. Everything that you're releasing. The heart is right here. It's in the still moments. God sees every name. He sees every burden. He sees every prayer. And He is trustworthy.
And you don't have to have everything figured out to be faithful. Sometimes faith looks like just trusting God with the next step and just letting Him hold the rest.
How does that feel for you, Alina, by writing that concern, that worry, that thing that's really bothering you?
You know, freeing, actually. I feel great. I think just putting out there what I needed to release. And if I'm actually doing it, I gave it to God. It's not my problem anymore. And I feel free.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I feel the same way. Actually, sitting down and writing something like that, I didn't even realize how much of it was weighing on me. And when I identified what it was, I honestly have no control over it. None. The only things that we can control are our own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, like what we're thinking about, and also how we respond. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Only thing that we can control. We can't control other people. We can't control how they think or how they feel. And frankly, do you really want to? I don't.
Well, it might make things a little easier in my life, but no, not really.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't. Because it just causes so much stress when you do that, right? When you try to control everything. And why? I mean, stress is a silent killer, they say, right? So why add more stress to your life if you don't need to? Like, I read a book by Mel Robbins, Let Them.
The Let
You
Them
read that
Theory.
book?
No, I
Yes.
haven't, but I've seen her stuff.
Oh, I highly recommend it. Oh my goodness. It is talk about a great book for like letting go of control or people's feelings or all that. Let them. I love it. And I try to live by it. It's a work in progress, right? We have to work on it every day. But I started practicing that. Especially the first thing that came to mind that I use it with is, remember, well, in our last episode, our marriage episode, we talked about the controlling of like dressing our husbands.
Yes.
So that's I'm like, now I let him. And oh my goodness, it's so much nicer, so much less arguments, so much, it's better. Like we don't have to fight about that. And so, and what I do, how I sneak it in a little bit though, I'm going to confess.
Tommy, don't watch
this, is if we go somewhere important and I really want him to look nice, then I just lay his clothes on the bed, or in our closet we have this round thing that I'm like, I just lay him there, and then I think he gets the hint that you should wear this today.
I need to do that because I'll do that for James sometimes before he gets into bed. I'll grab his like a bed t-shirt and underwear, and I'll pull his side of the bed, like you're in a hotel and they turn the bed down. I do that for him every now and then.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah, so I didn't think about doing that with the clothes.
Yeah,
to wear. James, don't watch this part either.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's funny. What's another one that that you tend to go to when it's like you're trying to control something and it's not, you can't control. That's an influence though. You influenced him.
Yeah.
That's different. You can influence people.
And she says that in the book.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Well, did you know that a lot of the things that I've heard her speak about with it, I'm like, this is all in the Bible. I wonder if Mel, is she?
She is.
She's a Christian?
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But actually, most things that people say or like a thing that they do, there's a lot of biblical context to it. You never know. You don't know until you know.
And until you get into the Word and read it.
That's right.
And let me tell you, Childlike Faith. It goes perfectly. So, growing up in a Christian home all my life, I went to church, like I said, 6 out of 7 times a week. And I always had so many questions, right? Especially as you read the Word and then you're like, what? I thought God he's like kind and loving and there's no, he doesn't change, and he does not. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We change, exactly. But then I was always afraid to ask the questions, right? Like, because to me it was like a sense of being disrespectful. Ooh, why? I shouldn't ask God why he's like this, or why did you do this, God, or why do you act this way, or why did you punish them, or why did you bless them, right? They're bad people. Why did you want to save her? She made bad choices, type of thing in the Bible, different stories. Sure. And I didn't want to be disrespectful. But the minute I started studying the Bible that way, to where I actually asked all the questions that I was thinking and feeling, and I wrote them down, just being innocent like a child, right? That's when true relationship happened. God truly started revealing himself to me and answering my questions. I love that. Through reading his word. And then just putting people in our lives that can bless us and pour into us, just, like people that we do life with. Because we can read a part of the scripture and totally interpret it differently, right? But so it's kind of cool to bounce things off of people too. So
because he meets you where you're at. Wherever you're at, he will meet you. He's right there. He never goes away. He's always there. And as you were talking, this reminded me of the woman who heard Jesus was coming to town, and she was bleeding nonstop. She'd been bleeding for a really long time.
All her life.
And she just reached out and touched. She's like, if I could just touch his clothing, then I'll be healed. And Jesus felt power leave his body as soon as somebody touched. And there was a crowd around him. And he goes, who touched me? And she's like, I did. And so that to me is such strong faith. And I actually have a picture of it right there up on the wall. I'll see if I can get it to share with everybody. But This was an amazing time with you as always, and I hope that I hope that you all really enjoyed it and it makes you think, right? Again, even if you're not a believer, if you're not a Christian, there's so many things that we have in common that you don't even realize until you just start sharing. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amen. And so thank you so much for joining us and growing with us today.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here. And I know you're a blessing to us because I've been getting a lot of text messages and messages stating that it's really helping you guys. And we so appreciate that. That's what the whole purpose of this show is just to be vulnerable and just for all of us to grow and
disciple, be disciples, right?
Yeah.
Because we love you and He loves you. And until we see you again, friends, have a blessed day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
If something from today's conversation spoke to your heart, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for being part of this community. Until next time, friends, we'll meet you here in the garden, growing together.